think I'll do my best to be brief. As Florence said, I have the great privilege of being part of the Balance in Business team, and I think one of the reasons why Florence suggested I might want to say a few words this evening was not just to promote the incredible diversity of Six Nations Rugby, where the women's and the men's tournaments are the best championships in sport, but also the fact that I've had the privilege of working as an executive in both the US and the UK, and I think that context, as we gather today and think about balance in business, is an important one. So that experience of global industries and global sport, and let me tell you, if you didn't already realize, talent is a global sport. So my link to balance in business, I had the privilege of being invited by Helen Pitcher, one of our other board colleagues, when I was running O2 here in the UK, to speak at an event that was probably 7-8 years ago, and we were just developing some of the thinking around balance in business at the time. And I was absolutely bitten by the commitment of the organization and of the power of influence that a body like INSEAD Alumni would have across the ecosystem. So that's what brings me here. And I think today I want to focus on the nature of this somewhat complex global reality that we find ourselves in. We as champions of diversity, to some extent, look like we're flowing against the tide. But the reality is that we fundamentally aren't. We actually are in a position where this could be the best of times or the worst of times, and we will be the ones that will decide. Because oddly enough, this is not about one individual making noise in Washington. This is actually about an issue that respectfully we've been dancing around our proverbial handbags about for decades. This is a debate about a clash of ecosystems. And what I mean by that is we have in the United States a rules-based system where compliance is enough. It can be devoid of anything other than the fact that the form has been filled, the box has been ticked, and I'm legally compliant. Whereas actually Europe and Britain, says the man with an Irish accent, is built on a principles-based system. And that is a fundamental that we need to make sure that we don't lose sight of. Principles-based ecosystems versus compliance. You cannot embed behavioral change with a rules-based, compliance-based system. But a principles-based system, as represented by the Institute of Directors, as a lobby group and as a membership group, is a perfect example of how we will affect sustainable change. Rules-based systems tend to militate against ecosystem dynamics. But the truth is that why we're going to win is that principles-based systems tend to foster an ecosystem development, an ecosystem that supports the purpose and intent and delivers the sustainable difference that means so much to all of us. This is really about leadership. It's about bringing people to places they otherwise wouldn't go. And that demands a principles-based ecosystem. Ultimately, it's about creating the conditions for people to be the success they deserve to be. And at the end of the day, it's about matching talent to opportunity. Our society has never lacked talent. What we have lacked is the willingness, the commitment, and sometimes the ability to match that talent to the challenges and opportunities in our community and in our society. So this is about building an ecosystem, not simply initiatives, for sustainable success, and underpinned by a simple culture of, this is just how we do things around here. So, in the spirit of that, when I think of ecosystem, and I'm going to be unashamed in saying that as I built my table for this evening, I thought about the people that were essential parts of an ecosystem that would create the conditions for balance in business and for success. So I think about headhunters who are willing to challenge the norms to promote truly diverse talent. Initiatives like Balance the Board, for example. Organizations that actually represent true diversity. Organizations like One Young World, which expose young leaders to the reality of diversity through engagement and exchange on a global level to a cohort of young leaders who are by their nature diverse. Entities like WeQual, which helps businesses develop the next generation of talent. And also we talked about women in their careers, those supporting women through their careers. And importantly, through maternity leave, which after all is a key part of a woman's career, through initiatives like Matrix Coaching, and the role that sport can play in teamship and developing a gender-diverse participation and support, and recognizing that what you see, you can believe. We need to see it to be it, and sport, for me, is a tremendous example of that. So I think we have all the raw materials. We have the ingredients. The question is, are we willing to match that to the challenges and opportunities that we have in our society at the moment? Because I think if we do, we will win, and we will win comprehensively. And frankly, if that means Europe wins at the expense of America, then that's absolutely fine too. And guess what? If you're worried about speaking out in the current environment, I'll just offer you one perspective. Some of you may have seen this during the week. The Marriott CEO was put on the spot about DE&I, and so he decided to speak. And by the following morning, 40,000 of his associates had contacted him to say, thank you, because you stand for the values that we believed in when we came to work for this organization. So, as he said himself, I hope I said the right thing. So in the spirit of that, why BIB? Why Balance in Business? It's an initiative dedicated to engaging and inspiring both current and future leaders on the importance of balance within the business environment. Business is about winning. And actually, the war on talent is an essential ingredient of you going to war with the capability to succeed. We shouldn't be shy about it. How can you access the best talent if you ignore 50% of the available talent? How can you have the sort of quality of conversations, debates, decision-making, strategic thinking if you have groupthink at the very highest level of your organization? So for all of those reasons, I know the people in this room don't need to be persuaded, but maybe you need to proselytize a little bit more. We need to shout it from the rooftops. Leadership is ultimately about being chief cheerleader and chief storyteller on behalf of your organization and creating the conditions for each person to be the success that they deserve to be. Thank you.